on and off the road, including Kenda Tires, the king of the mountain, Cooper Tires, king of the road and track, Ostone, the king of the outback, and High Fly, the king of the Asian highway. We also carry new tires for light or heavy-duty trucks from MRF, High Fly, and Linglong. A reliable set of new tires keep you, your passengers, and your payload always in the safe lane. So when you need quality tires with reliability at 100%, choose SVG Tire Sales and Services in Kingstown, 457-1467, or in Arnesvale, 456-6444. SVG Tire Sales and Services. Performance and reliability proven when the rubber meets the road.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so we are back with you for another commentary segment on today's Activating Mornings program. For those in need of a time check, it is 8:15. Work officially begins for many persons. Is it 8:15 or 8:30?
Isn't it 8 o'clock?
Oh, well, that too. That too. I had worked somewhere for like 11, for close to 11 years, and I actually wasn't sure whether work started 8:15 or 8:30 or 8 o'clock. Because I was there early enough anyways. But yeah, I left anyway. Good morning to my former boss if he's listening. But yeah, I wasn't never quite sure what time work started, but I was there. All right, I was there. Anyhow. All right, so we are back with you, Dianna, Cain, and myself, Roleza Samuel, and we are going to head into some other topics at this time. All right, so Dianna, over to you.
Vex. We're going into the vaccine again. All right, so at this time, we're going to be talking about this particular topic, which is the lawyers that were representing the teachers union, or I keep saying teachers union. It's not just the teachers union, but the lawyers representing the unions and the dismissed workers have advised them to return to their jobs again. Right? So the lawyers that were representing the workers who lost their jobs in 2021 because of the COVID-19 vaccine mandate have advised them once again to return to their posts, right? On behalf of the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines, advised the unions to appeal to the London-based Privy Council. But in the meantime, they're saying you go back to work and you do what you got to do, right? They're said to the... Give me 1 minute. Sorry, just trying to pick out my thing here. All right, so they said anyone... All right, let me backtrack. So then this is one of the lawyers speaking. I believe that the affected persons can reasonably return to the workplace and keep us updated. Let us know as to whether there are any disadvantages that you face. Anyone who has refused employment or anyone who is given a position which is lower in terms of salary or in terms of the level and the position that they held before they were dismissed, all of those things they're saying are things that they should be informed of because they would definitely have other legal ramifications. So the lawyer says if any person is confused or is unsure as to whether returning to work would affect the appeal, the answer is no. You can return to work and still pursue your appeal to be compensated for the harm that you have suffered. Right? So there we have it. The lawyers have advised the workers, listen, you go on out back to work, all right? You hear me? And the Prime Minister did say yesterday, well, he did make the appeal to the workers to come back to work as well, saying, hey, come back. You're not going to lose anything. All your benefits are going to be intact. Come back. Like Titanic. Anyways. In another story.
Titanic sank, eh? So what reference are you trying to make there?
Just the come back part.
All right. Okay. All right. So I think one of the other things to point out is that the lawyers are advocating that persons document everything.
Oh, yes.
They're saying that if they're saying that you have to fill out an application form, that you fill out the application form, right? But whatever it is that you do, make sure that you document everything because Once you could be able to say, well, this is what it is that I did or was said. And if an email was sent, or if you sent an email, make sure or ask in your email that it be acknowledged, so that you have a copy, a quote unquote receipt, to show that the person, whoever it is that you sent your information to or you send communication to, that they have actually seen it. So in the case that you need to have supporting information to support your case, that you would have it there. One of the other things too that I would probably suggest, so apart from email communications, apart from, I think that they said, even if you submit letters or physical documents, that you have somebody sign for it as having received it, etc. One of the other things that I would also suggest is, if you have verbal conversations with anyone on whatever the matter is that you also document it. Document the date that you spoke to the individual, who you spoke to, and maybe even the time. All right. Because these things would help to support whatever it is. If there are any issues or challenges stemming from it, that you would have that information to back up whatever it is may come into question later on. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Morning.
Something that I do understand. Listen to me carefully. If I walk in, more I walk, more NIS I am going to pay. And that will be a beneficiary to me when I come to my old age, so to speak. So how the teachers will get all the benefits when they was home and that not attached to the salary? Because if they say they go from since 2021, when they say the teachers fire the job, which part they never fire the job, is them dismiss the teachers because they was going to the job. How they gonna get all the benefits when they was home? So how that one attached? If they don't get all the benefits, the more they work, is more benefits they're gonna get. So how that they get all the benefits when they is not gonna get no pay? That's why I don't understand. You see?
Yeah.
So I will listen. I will listen to the radio.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we actually don't have a full answer for you either, because all of this is what is being questioned. Yes, it's being termed that for the 2 to 3 years, or how much ever long persons did not go back, that they would have been termed as being quote unquote unemployed. But if you are asking them to return and you're saying that they're going to be returning with full benefits, are they going to be compensated for that time that they were quote unquote not on the job, for that quote unquote time that they abandoned their job? So all of this is the questions that need to be answered. Yeah. All right. Oh, you left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The postman.
Yeah. It is a tricky one, but I don't know. Yeah. People would have to do what they have to do. That's the best I could say with this one. All right. So we have somebody else calling. Okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Just to follow up on this, and oh boy, it is so regrettable. It is so sad to know that common people, and when I say common people, those are who are at the bottom of the social ladder in this country, have to be going through all these problems. I hope we have enough psychologists, counselors, and all of that to help these people. You two brilliant young ladies, let me ask you all the question. If you all didn't take the vaccine and you all found yourself in this situation, what would you do? What will you do? I'm just using you two ladies who have to face the public and are confronted by all these different questions. What would you guys do?
You mean what would we do? What would we do in terms of whether or not we would have gone back?
Well, yes, that's one. There's a lot of things, and people have to understand what these people undergo or underwent, whatever. It's real frustration. If you're not strong, I believe some of them end up mentally sick now, who are not able to function as they should. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a dumb, or maybe I'm a fool in all of this. Where is the human element? Huh? We all can be right and we all can be wrong. Huh? But somebody, or maybe it's only until Jesus Christ come back on earth, we will get rid of some of these. One of you, I think, is you will ticklish questions, because we just can't put things right, or we don't believe in righteousness or something. I mean, not everybody will see where I'm coming from, but I am just sick, and I empathize and I sympathize for these people. As a result of that, I am suffering because I have a human heart, a human feeling. I am not pretending to be that person alone, right? But my heart reach, I reach out to all these people who are suffering, because this has been the most criminal act that has ever taken place in our country when it comes to our ordinary people. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, Dave. All right. Okay, so let's probably head into the other one, because yeah.
Right. So while things are looking a bit glum on this side, in Jamaica, or neighboring sister island, the government all right, so we have another call.
Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, Roleza. Good morning. Dianna, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well. Happy New Year.
I'm so happy to hear this voice.
Okay.
How have you been
Happy
keeping?
Valentine's.
To you too.
I felt compelled this morning because for some time now I have been, from the very beginning, when the government made a call for dismissed workers to go back to work, I have been suggesting to the workers that they go back to work, and whatever is to be continued in the courts, it can continue. And my understanding of the benefits that accrue to public servants is what compelled me to suggest to the workers to go back to work. A gentleman just raised the issue there of NIS. NIS is not paid solely on how much you contribute. After a certain number of payments, you qualify for NIS. So there are many of the persons who have been dismissed who are already qualified to receive the maximum NIS payments. What would only change that is the salary they earn going forward. I just raised that as one of the issues that persons are used for advising the teachers why they should not go back to work. The main one, I think, though, is the issue of pension. The government does not have to do anything currently to entitle persons who return to work to get their pension benefit that was accrued to them before they were dismissed. It is in the law already. It is what has been practiced for many years. Pension is calculated from your first, and I emphasize, your first appointment. So if you were appointed 10 years ago, 50 years ago, and you now become qualified for pension based on your attained retirement age, they have to go back to your first employment, the date of your first employment, to calculate your pension. That is in the law. That is what has been practiced. I think it is evil for persons to be saying to those who claim that they are suffering, to advise them to stay off of the work, stay away from work for whatever reason. If you're home and you're suffering, you get an opportunity to work, you go back and work. The unions will continue to pursue the matter. Now, what would have happened yesterday or the day before when the ruling was made? Those who went back to work, all they have lost so far is the salary in that period while they were off the work. They are entitled to their pension from the very beginning when they started to work.
Okay.
I think it is evil for persons to be saying that they are suffering and they get an opportunity to ease that suffering. And for whatever reason, we are continuing to encourage them to stay in the suffering.
Okay.
We have a date coming when we will resolve the political issue. It's not very far off. It is within this year. We're going to resolve that political issue one way or the other. Don't use people's suffering to resolve. It is going to happen. These persons, whether or not they go back to work, I believe that they have already determined where they're going to vote. So why you still encourage them to stay in their misery? I just felt compelled to make that. Yes, you're saying something, Roleza.
I do have a question. What happens in the case of persons who are nearing retirement age, but they ended up in the category of abandoning their jobs? How would that then affect their pension? And they're being asked, I hope I'm phrasing this properly. Okay, bear with me a second. They've been termed as abandoning their job, and they were close to retiring. And now that they have to be asked to go back, let's say if they've just slipped past the retirement age, then what happens there in that case with those persons who fall into that category? You understand where I'm coming from?
I understand the point that you're making. You're asking about persons who, by age, should be retired now.
Right.
By virtue of their age, you're now over 60, so they should be retired now. Those are individual things, and I believe those are things that the unions must fight for, that these persons should get their rightful pension.
Okay.
And we should not use that to discourage those persons who have served for 20 years and have another 10, 15 years to go. Because ultimately, the period that you're off was going, when you're computing your pension, is going to be counted as you were on no pay leave. As some of us do when we're in the service. So one reason or the other, it may help, it may be some family issue. We take no pay leave. Once you go back to work, you have an appointment date. That new appointment date is not what is going to be considered when your time comes for computing your pension.
Okay.
If anybody who's listening to me have doubt, please check the Service Commission. There are persons who have gone through this before, long before COVID, who left the service for one reason or the other, went overseas to be with their family. It didn't work out. They came back home. They started working in the civil service. They work until they reach retirement, and that previous period is used because it is provided for in the law in terms of calculating their pension.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify. And sorry for detaining you from going to the topic that you're going on.
Oh, no problem. I mean, the information is useful for persons out there who needed the clarification. So it's always good when somebody who has been in the service and has the position of authority to speak on it has spoken on it, and that's you. So thank you.
I've always encouraged persons to go back to work, and I believe if you're unemployed, please apply for your job and go back. Your appointment date, the commission have to appoint you when you take up, as far as the record show, you're off the job. You've been dismissed. So they have to now appoint you. They're going to reappoint you from your very first appointment. What that would mean is that automatically the commission has to pay you for that period in between. And I believe that would be settled in the court once this go on to the Privy Council. It will be settled one way or the other. And whether you are on the job now, you have gone back to the job, or you're off the job, it will not affect that settlement in the long run. What would affect the settlement is the way the judges look at the evidence presented before them, and it's not new evidence, it's the evidence that was presented in the case originally. They will look at that and they will make a determination. Thank you, guys. Happy Valentine's.
To you too. Thank you. All right. That was Mr. Lansford Weeks there providing us with a bit more clarity with regards to this situation. And before Dianna goes on to that, I too would say that it's good to hear not just the PM asking persons to return to work, although that wasn't a new issue or a new issuance. Issuance is the word? All right. You know what I mean, right? It wasn't the first time that he said it. Let me put it that way. It wasn't the first time that he said it, but I'm also happy to see that the lawyers for the unions have also endorsed that. All right. So just play it safe, return to work, and let the lawyers deal with the matter and see what happens as a result. All right. So we have one more caller. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Right. So kudos to Mr. Weeks. And I'm glad it's not a politician who just spoke there. So I think that brings 100% clarity, except then we want to be ignorant, because many a times we're so ignorant, even though that you hear the truth, that it still becomes a lie. Just like the opposition, that's how they operate. So it's just to say kudos to Mr. Weeks to bring some clarity for those who really interested in the clarity. And I think that it suits you well, because you couldn't give an answer to the gentleman who was inquiring about that situation. So it's just to say kudos to Mr. Weeks, and then hope that we don't get no more that ignorance again until then when we hear from the politician again. But so kudos to Mr. Weeks. That's all I will say for now.
All right. Thanks, Maxman. All righty. So over to you, Dianna. Just
right. So over in Jamaica, 2 employees of the King's House are going to be reimbursed their wages and allowances with interest for COVID-19 restrictions that prevented them from entering their workplace in 2021. So after failing to deliver COVID-19 test results, office attendants, let's go with Bennett and Raymond, was suspended in October 2021. Last March, they sued the state for violating their constitutional rights and causing them hardship by blocking work. And then the Attorney General spoke to local media and said, the Attorney General agreed to settle with the 2 ladies and to pay all the back monies plus interest and legal cost. He stated, the Attorney General said, he urged the court to reimburse by the end of the year. The lawyer who represented the ladies said they feel good after we sued the government. They understood they had no case and they settled. So I don't really want to go into all the details, bearing time in mind about what happened. But basically they have the government has decided that they're going to settle. They're going to pay this back with interest plus legal costs and all of those things over there in Jamaica. So these 2 people have gotten...
So if you want to read the full details of it, you can go to St. Vincent Times. They have the article there, so you can see how it is that this situation came about in the first instance. But we're just using this as an example, not to hint at anything in particular, but as an example of persons who have sued the government here within the region, and they are going to be fully reimbursed for not being allowed to work as a result of the COVID-19 restrictions and lack of vaccination, actually. All right. So there we go. We are going to head on out and be back with more Activated Mornings here on WEFM.